like, don't do it, everyone. Follow the path of Superman Returns. Don't do one single fight in
Right.
the entire
Yeah.
movie.
You can do it. It can be
You can't
done. And it
do
can
it.
be done well.
Sentences
Yeah.
that not many people say. Follow the path of Superman Returns. Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man that's here all along. It's Frank. How are you?
I am back from the road. And I've seen some things.
When you say the road, do you mean the yellow brick road? The road that diverged in a yellow wood? Not to be confused with the yellow brick road. Or the one that had paper leaves everywhere. Which road are
That
you
one.
talking about? The
That
paper
one.
leaf one.
Paper leaves.
Paper leaves.
That was
Yeah.
the one. Yep.
Sounds like it sounds like a paper goods store. Like
Paper leaves.
paper leaves. We sell note cards and things. Come on by. Click on it. Marketing, right? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
naming
Hey,
things.
you're onto something. There's, leaves is what they used to call pages in books, right? Like that's another word for so like it all connects.
See, I'm gonna take the rest of the day off.
You know what? I think you deserve it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you deserve it. Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to drink the beverage that I'm drinking.
Yes. What is that beverage?
I am drinking a Boddington's Pub Ale,
Ooh.
which I have not had in quite some time. But
Nor
it
have
is
I.
it's an Boddington's is an old beer from the UK, from Britain.
Mhm.
It was established in 1778. And so
Dang, yeah, okay.
everyone was like, "We're feeling good about ourselves. We're definitely gonna get the colonies back. Let's open a pub and a brewery." And then 2 years later, they were drinking themselves into
Dang.
they were drinking their worries away.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Well.
saying. But it's good. It's good. It's really creamy. Like it's got a creamy head and a smooth a pretty smooth, like a pretty smooth body. I'd quantify it in the brown, I guess,
Sure.
category
Okay.
as a pub ale. It's in
I
the can,
gotcha.
so I can't see what actual color it is. Mm. Yeah, especially when you open it, like it has like that Guinness-y quality to it, but much
Oh, I see.
lighter,
Yeah.
like
That
that kind of creamy.
creamy, silky kind of.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. I don't know if I would have it all the time. That's like,
Sure.
but for my purposes right now, it's very cold outside, so it feels correct.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very warm and cozy kind of beer. Like yeah. Makes you feel like you're in a pub in Britain, like in the winter, cozy by the fire or something. That's
Exactly.
yeah. I haven't
Very
had that
much
one in a
so.
long time. That is a good one.
You
Is
know,
it meant to
honestly,
be served cold or room temp?
so in between, it is meant to be
Okay.
served cool, so you can store it cold, but then you have to actually let it sit for
Like
a little while and
mhm.
then have it, because it has a like they call it a drought flow system, which
Yes.
is it has a pressurized insert inside of
Got
it,
it.
and so it helps, like it helps in the, I would assume, the import and like the
Yeah.
keeping its fizziness as it continue, like keeping the bubbles as it
I
goes on.
think I think Guinness comes with those sometimes too, right? It's the thing that rattles around in the can
Mhm.
when you're done with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that it came with it. It's been so long, so I was like holding it and I was like, "Hmm, is there a thumb in there?
Yeah.
Like what's going what's going
Is there
on?"
a thumb in there?
Yeah,
That also kind of feels like it connects to what we're talking about today. Is there a thumb in there?
sure does.
But that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. So
what
it's
are
like,
you
yeah,
drinking?
like cask temperature, I guess. Um, I am drinking one of my all-time favorite beers, that I don't get to have an awful lot. Is Chimay, Trappist ale.
Mm.
The Chimay Blue, in particular is my favorite one. I happened to be near a beer store, like a specialty beer store that's like about a half hour from here. I happened to be in the neighborhood, so I stopped in and picked up a bunch of beers and got myself a couple of nicer ones. Like I was able to build my own 6 pack, so I did that, and um, I've got a few that I picked out specifically for the show, so I'm looking forward to trying them here. I got some winter and Christmas stuff too coming, so
Mm.
I'm excited to go through those. But this is one of my all time favorite beers. I haven't had it in couple of years, probably. Actually, now that I think about it. So
Hard to go wrong with a Trappist beer, truly.
yes, yes, truly. In my estimation, this is the best of them,
Mm.
um, or at least my favorite of them.
Is that your McDonald's Star Wars glass?
Yes, it's a 1977 Burger King Star Wars
Burger King,
glass.
that's right.
I have two of them. And this is the one, now that we are on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that this one has some beautiful painted on art of R2 and 3PO in front of the binary sunset. You can see
It's got Luke doing a
off
thing
in
in
the
the back,
distance,
right?
it's got Luke with the lightsaber in the back. Um, and is he looking? Yeah, I think that's Ben up in the clouds there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see it now.
So, not my best pour.
No,
And then,
terrible pour. I wasn't gonna
yeah,
say anything, but
it's not the right glassware for it.
no.
Like I should be using like one of those, like almost like a snifter.
Mhm.
But,
Glassware does matter. This is actually
it
a
does,
great
yeah.
a really good example of why you just can't pour a beer into any particular kind of glass.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true, yeah.
but
Um,
sometimes you just want the Star Wars glass.
that's it, right? Like I'm doing it for the show.
Mhm.
Um, Normally I would have grabbed the appropriate class. I have one of them. Um, and on the back here, it has like a bio for 3PO.
Oh,
Um, or for
wait,
R
what is it?
R2 rather.
Uh,
Um,
like, what is it, oh, it must start with 77, though. It must start with A New Hope.
yes. Yes. So
Does it invent
these
some
are
wild background?
these
Like
are from 77.
right.
They did continue making them. Actually, I was in a store that sells like comics and records and stuff nearby, and they had a set from Return of the Jedi,
Oh,
from the same series. So that was interesting to see. And so I guess they kept it up at least for the throughout that trilogy. It'd be cool to collect all of them from the whole
mhm.
trilogy, but I don't think I'm gonna go for it.
No, it's one thing to say it would be cool to collect and then realize that you're almost 40.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But I
yeah.
have these two that I inherited, and they're very nice.
Very nice. Very nice, Frank. Listen, we're a little behind the 8 ball here, but, I wanna talk to you about Agatha All Along because it
Mm,
was really good. But before we do that, I really would like to mention that Superman and Lois just finished
mm.
up, on the CW, and on top of that, that ends the 24-year, um
23. Yeah.
23-year reign of superheroes on the WB and then the CW, starting with Smallville and
Mm-hmm.
ending with Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice bookend of the beginning of Superman's career as a kid, going to the beginning of his career, Superman, to quite literally the very end of Superman.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
which is awesome. It's just like from one end to the other one as DC's first hero, as the first real superhero in
Mm-hmm.
American
Mm-hmm.
comics. Like there's or in comics everywhere. Like it's just a really nice
Yeah.
way to look at the end of that era on TV. But Frank, you have a Superman and Lois show that you do with other
Do.
people. Can you plug that now?
Yeah. Well, so yeah. So as the TV show comes to an end, we are sort of finding ourselves being like, I guess this is over too, or maybe we'll keep rolling with this into something else. So I don't know what we're looking at ways to keep it going. But yeah, we covered the finale. We were able to interview um one of the writers and directors who directed episode 409. And then we were able to my co-host Derek was able to interview the showrunners um, to do a post-mortem on the finale. So that's also in the podcast feeds and on YouTube for Superman and Lois TV Talk if you're interested in those. But yeah, it's another show. You and I did Supergirl TV Talk together for 6+ years, and that came to an end, and so like that was the end of a podcast. And this is sort of another one of those moments, so it's bittersweet, but it's been awesome. It's been so much fun recording all the time with Derek and Robin. And the three of us had so much fun doing it. So it's yeah, it's sad to see it go. But if you did enjoy Superman and Lois, if you watched Superman and Lois and you want to hear us break down a couple of the final two episodes and sort of the final arc of the show with writer, director, and the showrunners, check out the last couple episodes of Superman and Lois TV Talk, supermantvtalk.com, and wherever podcasts and YouTube videos are found.
Good. So to say all that, did you like it?
Did I like the finale?
Yeah, or even all of season 4, let's
I
say.
oh, okay, yeah, I did. I really liked season 4. The finale, I had some people who listen to our episode will hear I had some uh choices I would have made differently. But nonetheless, it didn't tarnish the series for me overall. I really, really, it's one of my favorite shows. You know, it's a special thing. It's of a Superman show that is so unique in the approach that it took. Being, you had the couple angle in like Lois and Clark back in the 90s, and then you had this is giving you the parental angle. Like now that's a new thing that's being explored, and it's been really, really cool to see that dynamic play out, and the characters they got to bring in along the way have been awesome.
Mhm. Generally, I agree. I honestly, I think it's some of the strongest Superman content that has ever existed. Like, it's just
and and
really, really good.
and not to take anything away from the writers, because they absolutely like they created it and made the show so much of what it is and was. But Tyler and Bitsy's chemistry is such a big component of
Mhm.
what sells it, and why. I think honestly that's what makes the show. If those two didn't have that chemistry, the rest of it wouldn't pull together like it does.
No,
Um,
I agree. I agree. Not just the chemistry, but also their understanding of their characters and where they are
yeah,
in relation
yeah,
to the show and everything. Like a lot of it isn't the writing, but it is in the delivery of the writing. It really is.
totally.
It's twofold.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I'll leave people who want to talk about it really like they can go and listen to your podcast. So,
yep.
but I really loved it. I thought it was a great way to I thought it was a great way to kind of wrap up the whole show.
Yeah, yeah.
Um but yeah, good stuff.
Mhm, mhm.
Frank, you went, so do you have something to say? Yeah.
Do you wanna talk about Agatha? Is what I was gonna say.
I
Alright.
do because it's December
It
and
is.
maybe we should talk about it before 2024 is over.
Yes.
Um this was a show that I had no expectations, and
Mm,
I almost didn't watch it. Like,
mm,
I
mhm.
was
Same.
literally like, I just don't care enough. Like, she was great in WandaVision, but it's not a character that I really wanted to follow.
Yeah. I felt like, "Oh, this isn't a thing I needed them to" when they announced it, which felt like a very long time ago now,
Mhm.
I was excited about it, but since then, I've sort of tempered a little bit, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not excited about it, but, yeah.
Yep, that's how I felt too, and
Yeah.
so I decided to give the first episode a go, when early on when it was because I why not? Truthfully, really wasn't much else to watch, and so I was like, "Well,
Mhm.
I might as well try." And I didn't actually realize that it was the same showrunner from WandaVision, and that
Uh-huh.
probably would have cued me earlier that something special was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And so because by the end of the show, I was like, "Well, that was really good." And it really took me in places that I wasn't expecting,
Mhm.
which is exactly what WandaVision did. And that's like
Yes.
I guess I should have been primed for that. Um, but I wasn't as early as I thought. By the time the show completed itself, I had a firm understanding of where it was going before it got
Mm.
there. Um,
Okay.
but it kind of like whereas WandaVision played with television tropes, this show played with witch tropes.
Yeah.
And like hardcore played with all of them, but in
Boy,
a
did
really, really smart way. Like it gave the audience what it expected and wanted, but then it did its own thing at the same time.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
was just it was smart writing. And I always appreciate that. Um, so what did you think?
I was along for the ride the whole time. I did not I did not have the uh I was trying to figure out like um what they were using as inspiration for like what were the inputs for it. Like that was the thing that kept me so interested throughout the whole season was like what pieces of lore are they pulling from.
Mhm.
um I found that really fascinating. And I was very much taken with I always forget how much I love Catherine Hahn.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
I know she's great. I know she's one of my favorite actors, but like I forget just how much I love her. Uh and had forgotten how much I loved that character, honestly. And I'm like, "God, this is why I was so excited about it when they first announced it, that they were going to be spinning that off because it really was a WandaVision was a brilliant show, and you're right. I underestimated the show as well. I think I was almost gonna not watch it, but I'm so glad I did because I think it was something really special. After all, it like WandaVision, it sort of looked like it was going to be one thing, but ended up being something else.
Mhm. I think that's a good place to stop and talk about spoilers because I don't think that at this point, if
I
you've
don't.
watched
Yeah,
it, you've watched it.
yeah,
We'll just go into it. Here's the thing: the show is called Agatha All Along. They freaking told us it was Agatha all along from the
yes,
beginning. It's in the title
it
all the
is.
way through. Did I believe them? Sure didn't, but I should have right at the beginning. Like, just that's the smart right. That's the kind of smart writing that I'm here for, because the whole show kind of revolving around the Witch's Road, but the song being a con in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
like that's the stuff. That's really where I was like, this is
Yes.
what I'm here for. This is actually what I wasn't expecting, but I'm so glad that it delivered.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like twist after twist after twist in that way. And I was totally like they had me along for the ride. I was like, I don't see where this is going, and this is exciting
Yep.
to be like I don't know. There's this shows. You know, I did see someone. Obviously, we are uh, uh, not recording this right after the show came out, so this is a few months in the past now. I don't remember who posted this, but I did see a really funny post that was like there are two Disney Plus shows about witches right now because this was during the Acolyte,
Oh, right. Yep.
and one of them is not pulling it off, and one of them is pulling it off.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that tweet. Yeah, I don't remember who's that, but it's true though. I mean, one was in space, but it was purple was a central color for
True.
the witches, and yeah, like yeah, I was thinking about the Acolyte the other day, and just sad ways.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yes,
um,
yeah, a real shame.
it is. So the witches wrote it. I think I'm a little jumbled here, but I think the show pushed the mystery to the general audience and even to comic book fans, like who Billy was, who T
Yes,
was, right? And like a comic fan is like, he's obviously Billy. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
if you're like in it, like you know who he like. It's just you're kind of waiting for. So it's like tricking you. It's like here's the shiny like comic Easter egg that you're all waiting for,
yes.
but it turns out like we're gonna do all this other stuff like underneath that you weren't expecting at all, and make it a really interesting show about grief and
Mm-hmm.
like in what people do in the name of I guess like feelings, like hiding their feelings or coping with their
Yeah,
feelings or anything like that. It's like a nice like step process for the stages of grief. If you look
yeah,
at it
that's
from
right.
that angle, you take it from the classic hero's journey
Yes,
angle, but like
yes.
because every or even like if you break it down like as a the quest as a symbol, you have like your like where they're going, like who they are and where they're going and why they're going there. And like they are witches and they're going to the witches road and they're
Mm-hmm.
going there to gain their power back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they
Mm-hmm.
all the trials and challenges they face are basically every episode where they're like upper middle class witches and they're
Yes.
70s it was
Rock
time for
stars.
demonic
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
witches and they're Disney witches and
Yep.
or classic pop culture witches, but all of that is leading to what a quest is always about, which is the self-discovery. What does the
Yes.
character discover? And for mostly, it's Billy discovers that he just made the whole thing up, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Mhm.
what I think that's what I loved most about it, above anything, because, like, we talked about the paper leaves at the beginning of the episode,
Yes, yes.
and we're like, "Wow, those leaves do look like paper." And then they talk about it, I'm like, "Oh, so it wasn't just a budgetary issue thing.
Yeah,
That was, like, a
right.
real thing that was
That was
happening."
a yes, like,
Yeah,
absolutely. So many things were a choice that seemed to be by chance.
right, because it fits into this formulaic puzzle that, like, it feels comfortable, like, oh, they're on a quest, and they're going down a road, and they're going to like, and they have a try like I said, like, it fits the very thing that you want it to make you feel comfortable,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, it's weird, the road is doing this," and you just kinda roll with what the show is giving you because it's kinda tongue in cheek at the same time.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
they're so good at.
Mhm, and so for it to kinda blow up and be like, and he created it all himself, magic,
Yes.
like, I just as soon as he walked into his bedroom and, like, I think that was, like, the second to last episode, I was like, "Oh, he made it up." You could see it all over his room, and then, like, a
Totally.
couple minutes into that scene, like, he's making it all up, and I said, there it
Mhm,
is,
mhm.
the good stuff." But, um, yeah, I just think it was, like, it was just really well thought out from beginning to end,
Yeah.
like a good mystery should be.
Right, yeah, very well constructed.
Really well constructed, and all the main characters, like, they all learn something and move forward in a way that you don't really expect them to.
Mhm.
I also saw a nice thing about Agatha being the maiden, the the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Like, she's
Oh,
a
yes.
threefold witch, right, by the end of the show.
Mhm.
Like her time, which is also like stuff like that. Like, but it doesn't tell you all, like, well, some of it tells you, but like,
Mhm.
it doesn't
Sure,
tell you
but
its quest structure, or it doesn't tell you in that it's playing with like, so, like, it just kind of does it. And I loved that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I found so intriguing, right? That's what kept me so, yeah, so interested, beyond the story even, was it wasn't telling me that, so I was eager to be, like, figuring it out, like, what it was that they were, how they were constructing it.
Hmm.
That's a major part of yeah, like, it's just a very well written and then well acted. I mean, let's talk about the cast
Hmm.
because, like, what a ridiculously good cast.
It
Um,
was. I mean,
like,
Patty LuPone,
Patti LuPone,
she was so good. I loved her. I loved
she was
every
awesome.
second.
She like, so committed to it, like,
Yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
She did what Patti LuPone does.
Hmm. I did feel that early on, before really before I got what they were doing and playing with and everything, I really kept showing up for the cast
Mhm,
because I
mhm.
was like,
At first, I was, for sure.
yeah, I really like them. Like, and so I want to keep watching them,
Mhm,
because they all had a good dynamic.
mhm,
It
mhm.
was just funny and silly and scary enough. Really hard balance to strike. Like, it's
Seriously.
one of those, like, I don't know how to describe the show. Is it an adventure? It's not horror. It's not satire. It's only when you try to describe The Princess Bride, like, does that have romance?
Sure.
Yes. Does that have adventure? Yes. Does it have scary stuff? Yes.
Yep.
Does it have a cute child? Yes. Is it a
Mhm.
comedy? Yes. Is it a drama? Yes. Is it a like, like, it's just all
Yep.
of those things. So yeah, so I just really appreciated it. It's been a while. My memory's slightly fuzzy on it
Uh-huh.
now because I have not, obviously watched it for a couple months, but
I really loved Sashir Zamata's performance too. Like, I knew her from from SNL. I loved her. Haven't seen her in a few years. She did some Verizon commercials after she left SNL, but I hadn't really seen her much. And like, what an awesome role for her. And like, so I loved the dynamic between all of them. But the sort of I don't know, like the sarcasm and the back and forth when uh, uh Patty LuPone calls him teenager
Mhm.
instead of teen, and Sashir's character is like, "Whoa, use his full name." Like, just that's I loved that. I was so there for their dynamic between all of them. Uh, so yeah, I mean, the cast was like hard to beat. Um,
What was the name of
And
the, I can't remember her character's name, nor do I remember the actress's name, so this is gonna get interesting, but it was the mom from that '70s show. Uh,
Deborah Jo Rupp.
thank you. Thank you, Mrs. whatever she was in the
Yeah.
show. Honestly, I came for her, like,
Oh, she was
early on.
great.
She was the best. Like,
So great.
she
Yeah.
was the best.
Oh,
Like, and
what
you
a
think
great
that it's gonna go somewhere, and it just doesn't go somewhere.
no, no, not at
No,
all.
no.
Nope. Yeah, completely. It's a really good example throughout the show are many good examples of subverting expectations in a really pleasant way,
Mhm.
and in a way that uh, kept me engaged. It's just so fun. The show was so fun. It was very fun. It was very smart, and yet, if you didn't understand what it was referencing, and the sort of the tropes they were playing into, if you didn't recognize that, it didn't matter. Like, it was
Mhm.
there for you, but it didn't matter if you didn't get
Right.
that. It
Like,
it works on many levels.
I think, like, the record, The Witch's Road being, like, this special song that people follow and The Witch's Road and everything, and that it kind of reminded me of, like, that thing in the '70s where the people would, like, play the record backwards and they'd be like, "It's a chant to Satan." Like,
Yes.
that's, like, kind of what it's riffing on, but it doesn't ever really tell you that.
Mm,
It's just riffing on a thing that you might know culturally.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but it's not doing that exact thing. I just really appreciated I appreciated that level of thoughtfulness. And I think to the strength of the show, it was Marvel's lowest budget TV show.
Wow, I
Which
didn't
is
know that.
yeah, but I think, like
I guess it makes sense. It was the least effects heavy show, I guess.
absolutely, and I mean, like, the road is just, like, you just keep moving the patches of the road to make
Right,
it look
right, right,
different or whatever, so but I appreciated the freedom that came with C and D list characters, really.
right, right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not Spider-Man, it's
No,
not
far
the
from it.
X-Men, it's not Captain America, it's not even, like, I don't know,
It's not
Bucky.
even Wanda and Vision.
Right,
It's
yeah, right, exactly. This is like it's like most of those characters are just made up for the show. Like,
Mhm,
they're
mhm.
not real. Well, I mean, none of them are real, but you know what I mean. Um,
They're real
and
to me.
so I really it's funny because when we were younger, they would only use the C and D list characters, right?
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
you'd be like, "Give me the good ones.
Right.
Give me the good ones." But now that all the good ones have not all of them, but, like, a lot of them have been around and they've been multiple versions or whatever, I'm appreciating the creative freedom that comes
Yes.
with characters that you can do whatever. It's one of those shows that, like, it much like, maybe even like The Dark Knight, it proves that you can do a lot within the source material. Like, you don't
Mhm,
have to
mhm.
do big light in the sky, save the world, whatever. They're just characters in a world, and you can do what you want with those characters as long as you stay true to who they are originally as a character. And that's what I really appreciated with this show
Mhm,
more than
mhm.
anything.
Yeah. I think, I agree so hard with that, and I think that just requires that, like, the people making these things be, people who love the source material and know it well and care about, sort of doing right by it, so to speak.
I would say
And
yes and no, because
well,
I
I
think a
I
lot
just think it's you gotta have somebody in there who does, right?
it's
Like
true. I just think of, like, Tony Gilroy, who doesn't care about Star Wars at
right,
all,
right,
who
right.
made a really 2 good Star Wars things.
Yes, t
Yeah,
2 of the best Star Wars things from the last,
yeah.
several years.
So sometimes, like, reverence is good, but also, like, the need to the ability
It's a
to
balance.
know what to revere and how to do it,
Yeah.
um, I think that's actually the important part.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I think you need that balance. You need to have somebody who loves